Hey there, YouTubers. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. I'm going to commit to daily vlogs for at least a week, so let's go ahead and give it a try. Without any further ado, let's roll the intro and get today's episode started. So boys and girls, like my normal fashion, I've got a lot of projects and I need to get them done. So I'm going to daily vlog for you guys. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing and turning on the bell so you know whenever I upload. And let's go ahead and just kind of dive right into it. Guys, this car has been around the block on the channel several years ago. I actually bought this from Pablo, SP Tuning down in Florida. Sold it to a friend of mine. And it's had a setup in it on and off, and it's now here to go ahead and get finished, and we're mid-progress. So today's vlog, we're going to just kind of dive in. I'll show you kind of what's the plan for this car, along with what we're doing over here. And then by the end of it, you'll have the gist, and we'll just kind of march through the process as we wrap it up. And then I'll record it, put it on YouTube, and you guys can follow along. So guys, I actually got this head separate from the car first off to check out. And this head is warped. I took it apart, couldn't find anything noticeably hanging up inside of it, and I decided to go ahead and put it all back together, and then the cam wouldn't turn over. So that told us pretty quick that the head was warped beyond usability, or, you know, for us anyhow. And I decided to go ahead and request a donor. So Corey, the owner of the car, brought me a donor head, and we quickly took it over to Harrington's machine shop, had them do a clean and resurface. And in the meantime, I broke down this head. So we pulled all the rocker arm assembly out of it, the springs, the retainers, the cam, which is actually over here, just kind of hanging out. But for the most part, the way that this head was, you know, we couldn't use it at all. So we needed to go ahead and make sure that we had all the components we wanted to save out of it. And good grief, there's a plane. All right, where were we? The plane's gone now. So we retained all the springs and retainers, all of the seats and stuff, and we sent the head that we were going to use over to the machine shop to get honed. Over here, we've got the head back, and based off of this, you know, you can't ask for a cleaner head to start with. So I went ahead and I put in our keepers, and I'm waiting on a set of valve seals to be able to complete this, and then we'll use our handy dandy spring tool to reassemble it all and get it ready to go back on the head. We've got a few things that are, you know, missing, like your accessories for your water neck, and this is a VTEC solenoid on a single cam. But once we get everything situated and back in, you know, one complete head to go on the car, then we can start, you know, putting some of these final pieces on. While we had the valves out, I went ahead and I lapped these, and we did this just to make sure that the seat was great. These are pretty new. I don't even think they've been ran, to be honest. But we've got these ready to go in. They're all staged. We just really need those valve seals, and they should be here in the next couple of days. So, you know, expect to see that in one of these daily vlogs. So while we were waiting on, you know, valve seals and doing some of this machine work on the head, what we needed to do was diagnose some of the other parts. So we needed a turbo. So we picked up our special. It's a 6062. That's a journal bearing turbo. This is a Vitara built single cam. So it's got a spring retainer cam head. It's got a Vitara built bottom end. I believe it's actually got eagle rods in it. So it's got a notch or like a rod that would require notching. They're a beefier rod than some of the other options available that don't require notching. So what that means is we can beat on it a little bit harder, hopefully, and everything will be fine. But once we got the turbo situated, we needed some exhaust pieces. So all this stuff's been coming in the mail, and it just showed up today. And in the meantime, what I've been doing is working on this harness. So Corey told me that the vehicle speed sensor didn't work, and the more, you know, harness I started looking at, the weirder it got. So this harness had been cut into, spliced, and some of the plugs were missing. And I unloomed everything, like deloomed it, took all the electrical tape off, all the factory loom. And I kind of dove right into it, and I sectioned it out so I knew what needed to go in what spot, and I'll just show you. So guys, over here we've got our alternator lead. This is the battery lead and the alternator plug. I went ahead and I depinned all of these plugs because you can't slip the loom over top of them unless you do. So a lot of this you'll see doesn't have a plug on it. Down here, we've got our injectors. A lot of this stuff that as I de-loomed it, I found butt connectors and oddly spliced joints. So this is our like shock tower plug that would be on the driver's side. So this is like your resistor box here. These yellow ones, or where a resistor box would go. This is normally like a dead plug on an OBD1 or above car. This is your other port for your engine harness. And then you've got a couple here that go back into like the power side of things. But this is more or less done on this side. We've got this one here in particular, which was our coolant temp sensor. We've got a couple more to kind of terminate. And then we've got some loom that we need to put on the major part of it. Over here, we've got most of our little pieces that go around where like the distributor and then like this side of the head. So we just got to put our plugs back on, but it's already loomed and shrink tubing. And it's looking a lot better than it did. But boy, oh boy, has this been a pain in my butt. Like I said, this wasn't exactly what I bargained for, but once you got into it and you started seeing more that you needed to fix, I mean, there was nothing to do but commit. So here we are. Like I said, in my opinion, it looks 10 times better than it did, but we're not out of the woods yet. I ordered some additional like larger shrink tubing, and that's what I'm waiting on to be able to finish this. I bought an assortment of loom here. I'll just show you. I bought an assortment of loom, and like, hours and hours and hours pass, and using a wiring diagram to identify some of the ones that didn't have plugs on them has just been super time consuming. So if you guys have done this, I'd love to hear your feedback and how you did it. Drop me a comment and maybe we can chat on Instagram, but we've got a long way to go. So guys, with a lot of this stuff being kind of at standstill, whether we're waiting on parts or waiting on heat shrink tubing, I did get the turbo in the mail today. So I got the old one off, which had just a bad seal. Let me flip the camera around and we'll just walk through it. So this here was like an eBay 35R. It's got that anti-surge housing that you see on a lot of them. This did great for a little while, but obviously the bearing shot inside of it and it leaks and smokes oil. They're kind of like a 35R replica, but what we decided to do was use old trusty, and we picked up a 6062. It's a journal bearing cast wheel, super affordable. We've got our little ram horn manifold and a 38 gate, so we'll get that kind of situated, and then we're going to build us a hood exit. So we're going to try to hit this hole that's already here in the hood from whenever we bought the car. Not sure exactly what it was for, but we're going to do that and then see how close we can get, and then probably just put a beauty ring on the outside of it. But unlike a lot of the turbos, guys, you can actually pick this one up in a 3-inch V-band housing for the exhaust, a 5-bolt or a 4-bolt. So if you're looking for like a turbo upgrade, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll be happy to show you what I'm using or what we've been using here. Because a lot of times it's pretty adaptable. And if you're trying to ball on a budget, it's pretty affordable too. So guys, this is, like I said, the first attempt at kind of doing a daily vlog for a week. And, there's been a lot going on, but we're just trying to stay busy. Amongst that, I did go ahead and finish the B16 that I've been building, along with the F22 that I've been building. So we've got 2 cars that are coming available here. One will be a 96 Midori green hatchback, and the other is a 94 Integra. Both of them are going to be super sweet cars, make a lot of horsepower, but they're going to be, I guess, soon or future episodes here on the channel. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And I'll go ahead and I'll do like a walk around a little bit of this B16, give you a teaser, and we'll wrap this video up. So guys, this is a sleeved B16. It's got a set of cams in it, a set of Wiseco pistons, I-beam rods. It's got a top mount turbo manifold. It's a tubular manifold made out of Schedule 40. It's a 44 millimeter gate, and we're shooting to run a 66 millimeter turbo. I put this turbo on there for mock-up. This is actually for sale. This is a TX 6662 with a cast wheel and a journal bearing. If you're interested in this one, $300, and it'll make you a great little turbo to add on your build. But guys, this has been probably one of the most rewarding builds that I've done personally, because, you know, most of the time whenever you get into some kind of assembly, there's going to be something that you don't necessarily account for unless it's just a cookie cutter build. This was definitely something that, you know, taught me a lot of patience. I persevered, and as you can see, you know, everything's all together now. But, you know, just stick with it. Like, if you run into some hard spots, patience is really your friend, because if you take a break, walk away, come back, sometimes it's a fresh perspective that really makes the difference. So guys, if you haven't already, head on over to the channel. I just uploaded the video about the TSX, the turbocharged TSX that Infamous built. It's on low boost. We're starting the tuning process, and we're going to kind of work our way into the high horsepower. But that car is for sale also. So if you have any questions, DM Infamous Motorsports on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Infamous Motorsports. And he'll answer any of the questions you've got about the cars. I personally don't know any. They're his cars. So just go ahead and forward the questions on to him. And at this point, guys, I hope you've enjoyed. Stick around for tomorrow's upload, and we'll catch you in the next one.